Okay, so let's get started for today. We're going to start off with some announcements. So, for those wondering how to get their work on my video, how to get their work on my critique hour, you just go to istabrack.com and click on the Reddit icon here. It'll take you to my Reddit community if it decides to load, which it is still deciding. Okay. So this is the heart of the community. This is the beating heart of everything that I do. This is where everybody, who's anybody, gathers. So, and it's growing. It's gonna eventually, I'm sure, reach the number we had on Google Plus, which was 10K members. It's almost there, I think. But I hope it does go up. But anyways, please do the following things. Join the Reddit. Submit your work, get critiques, get good, be happy, draw better art, get more followers. Not that that is the definition for how good your art is. Fulfill your dreams, live your dreams, be happy, draw more. The world isn't just about raking in the capital. Sometimes it's just about sitting down and drawing and watching Ghibli movies. So do that, all right? Do that. I know there's a lot of war and frustration and chaos in the world, but we're a small community on how to grow and build your hobby into something maybe bigger than you ever imagined it would be. So do that. Join us. That sounded really, really threatening for some reason. And then we have a couple of announcements. The first one is the Floral Humanoid Challenge is officially live. Floral humanoids, what are they? Why is it doing this to me? Floral humanoids, what are they? Floral humanoids is one of the art prompt challenges the whole community will do. You'll all use pictures of flowers. You can pick rare flowers. You can pick flowers that we know and love. You basically create a character out of the flower. In celebration of spring, I will announce the due date. Please make sure you read through the Floral Humanoid Challenge. Look through the checklist here. It'll most likely be due around late March. Mid-April to late April. So have at it. It's pinned at the top. I think I disconnected. Please not another crash. What is going on with these big tech people? Like, are they all just resetting their servers or something? And on my store, the Portrait Studio sale is done, so I need to take this down. But on my store, if you find yourself in my store in maybe the start of June, you will find that there is a new item on my store, and it is a full tutorial, portrait tutorial. It's a masterclass 14-day challenge companion class, sort of. And it is for those who want to start the 14-day challenge but feel like there isn't enough compact information out there about the total start to finish process of painting a portrait in order to succeed in your 14-day challenge. If you find it difficult to get critiques, if you want to have me basically teach you how to draw a portrait, that is where you'll find the class for it. I draw a portrait from scratch. I teach all of the basics and fundamentals and all of my intro classes for private tutoring, all that information you'd get in private tutoring. Obviously, it's not one-on-one live screen share. It's a video tutorial, but it comes with lots of resources, including a glossary, brush sets, basically everything you need to complete the 14-day challenge successfully, and it'll be on my store very, very soon. I am still looking at different options, but it will, if I do pick an option outside of my store will still direct you to that option. I'm still looking at different options on how to host it. It's quite a big file. So far, video footage for the tutorial is super, it's packed. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes outside of the critique segment of that and how to critique yourself and all of that. That's all going to be included in that video pack, in that tutorial package. It's a master class, so don't expect a 30-minute video. I'm talking about 3 or 4 hours of footage in one sitting. So I mean, obviously you could, I mean, I did it all in one sitting, but you could divide it up along your 14-day challenge. In the video, I basically tell you guys at this level you may feel free to stop. There's going to be a diagnostic section where you have to paint a basically your first 14-day challenge and self-diagnose it with my guidelines. It's just the complete companion package for the 14-day challenge and your step into professional portraiture. And even just doesn't have to be portraiture pushing itself to the limit. It also teaches you, it's a very style applicable, style friendly tutorial, meaning that you could make it into an anime hybrid and all of that. So anime realism hybrid. So that will be on my store possibly at the start of June. I'm not 100% sure of the price. It definitely will not be $100, but it will be a fair price for both you and me, as well as there will be a release sale. So it'll be very affordable, and it won't be the immediate price that it's going to be upon the release. I'm not going to keep it at that price for a while. I'm not going to have it at the total price for a while. So if you are interested in that, it'll be available very soon on my store. It's just about polishing at this point. The product is done. Everything is done and ready to go. I'm just running a couple tests on its applicability, anything that might be missing, and just making sure that it has everything that I'm maybe not catching at the moment. And I'm going to be running it through a couple of people to use it and experiment with it, see if it's useful, and maybe if they have any feedback for me. So it's just in the testing stage, I guess. But I have a lot of faith in my skills. I've been doing this for over a decade, and I have like 600 videos on YouTube of me just literally practicing how to perfect my teaching. So I hope it's good. I hope I'm covering all bases, but I do want to run a testing phase just because I want to sell a good product, and this is going to be the thesis of my entire career as a teacher. That's why I've been hesitant on releasing something like this, because I didn't want to release something that I felt like I wasn't good enough yet for. But I feel like I'm there. I feel like I understand how a student thinks, and I've had enough experience teaching hundreds of students that I'm ready for that. So if you are interested in a tutorial, if you feel like you need a bit of a push in the Isterback style teaching method, which is high efficiency, quick improvement, by the way, then that item will be available on my store very, very soon. And then that's it for announcements, really. The Floral Humanoid Challenge is live, fun stuff, and the item on my store, the Masterclass 14-day challenge companion, will be live very soon, within the next 2 to 3 months. Let us take a look at some of the pieces here today. So I've opened up Portrait Studio to help us, because we are looking. If anybody watch Adventure Time, I'm sure you guys all watch Adventure Time. Do you remember those sea lards? Those little sea cows? This is a sea lard, all right? And I'll tell you why it's a sea lard, all right? Because sea lards have no edges. They're friend-shaped. This is a capybara of human faces. Too blended. There's absolutely no base skeletal structure. It's basically what a face would look like if the bones were all turned to mush inside the head, but still had some density to them. This is bad. All of it is bad. The background value is bad. The skin exposure is bad. Lots of stuff is really bad happening. So let's fix some of it. And before I do, I'm going to talk really quickly about light environment. Light environment is the representation of the background and its reaction to the light source, all collectively affecting what is happening on the portrait. So in your mind, you feel like you can have a white background if you have to. It's not great, but I'm going to keep it because I want to show you guys what happens if you have to have it. Excuse me. I'm really burpy. I don't know what to do. When I start lecturing, I get really burpy. Somebody tell me what's going on with me. So we can keep the background white. Let me just separate some layers from each other and talk about the portrait. If you felt in your mind's eye from your current level, you're looking at the portrait and saying that, you know, I need to adjust this because the bright background isn't really letting me dull out the skin, so I have to raise the vibrance of that color. And because you're doing that, you're getting this really, really almost like an inner glow. You know when Galadriel goes crazy? They will love me and despair. Remember that? That's because she's glowing on the inside out with that black light. Basically, that's what's happening here. It feels like there's a glow coming in from coming out from the inside under the skin. So I'm going to just fully just delete that. I'm going to just stop him from glowing. I'm going to get rid of all the radioactivity happening on his face. And I'm going to raise the vibrance just a little bit, just so that we were getting rid of some of that. And what's happening is it's hard to make these adjustments because you've got an outline, which makes zero sense with the white of the background. So I'm most likely going to just go fury on this and do whatever I need to do to fix it. But I need to tell you what I'm going to be targeting. This line, the excessive brightness you had before, which was this much, the hair texture, the gaze in the eyes, and then just the general lack of blocking, which I'll use Portrait Studio for to help me out. So what is Portrait Studio? It's available on my store as well. I'm sure you saw the item there. It is a reference generation software, and it helps you basically figure out what the heck you're doing with lighting. It's got a posable mannequin, it's got busts, it's got full poly portraits. It's basically everything you'll need in order to build references. So one of the models that we have is a really useful model, and it's basically a low poly head showing all the planes of the head, and I picked typically the male face. And what I want to show is basically you're missing this level in your process. You just skipped blocking, and that's why the face that you've drawn here is so mushy. It's so sea lardy. So I'm going to take a quick screenshot. Portrait Studio has a screenshot tool, but I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick one just so I can crop simultaneously. I use GreenShot, by the way, if anyone's curious. And I'm just going to have it open here on the side. So when I am going to go fury on this, this is what I'll be referencing for my blocks. This is what you should be referencing. I've pretty much memorized the blocks of the face, but you might not have, so I'm going to keep it open. And I'm going to be basically changing the skin tone, changing the color of the skin tone, and just fixing up some stuff, but also trying my best to stay harmonious with the original intent of the artist, while also not honoring too much of their decisions, because some of them are very misguided, such as the white background that was just too bright. Even if you're going to make it white later, make it darker for the process, because it'll help you pick better values. So the very first thing I'm going to get rid of before I block is I'm just going to get rid of anything that is damaging our access to the realism, which is realism comes from making objects look three-dimensional. Write that back to me. The most fundamental thing about realism is making objects look three-dimensional. And this is what it looked like after I got rid of all of the contrast and I reblocked. Got rid of all of the contrast, and I reblocked, and look at how much hidden contrast with that soft brush was hiding after we blocked. I added no new paint. Then I'm gonna make the eyes look like they're looking a little bit more forward. They kind of look a little derpy right now, and though yes, human eyes do this, you know, why paint a portrait looking directly forward if it has no interaction with the viewers at all? If you're trying to paint a handsome boy, just make him look forward. It's part of why he's handsome. And then I'm going to borrow some of that shadow and use it for the lower eyelid again, just encouraging the feel that this light is casting a shadow over this eye socket. So this is the final polish stage, which actually I spent a lot of time on when making the tutorial, because I don't feel like I talk about it enough. And it's just basically, once you're done blocking, once you're done blending, before you bring in highlights, there's this little soft brush zoom out stage that I do that makes all the difference, because you're just combining these elements together, you're incorporating. It's an extra level of blending, but it's very delicate work, because what you don't want to do is overdo it. And when you zoom out, you can find banding, you can find all kinds of rogue artifacts here and there that are killing the read. I have not brought in full contrast yet, and I've barely touched on the nose. Basically, the nose needs to be really blended, and we shouldn't be seeing so much of the inner nostril. The septum shouldn't be that big, but I think you're going for an Asian nose, which have a bit wider septum. And then I'm going to, with a very small smudging brush, I'm not trying to get rid of the blocks of the nose. I'm blending the nose out. And then I'm going to get a pure white. Yes, white. And using that on anywhere where the light touches. And this is how we start combining, because I'm going to redo the background value. This is how we make the background value connect with the skin tone, by using this white, because this white is the white of the background, which is the white of the light, reflecting on all the water of the face, which are like small lakes. Then what does a lake do in open light? It reflects the color of the light source. It's a mirror reflection of the sun. So I don't want to go pure white because that's always too gross. So I'm going to just go almost pure white, which is still white enough because it's just like right up there. And I'm just going to get that white again on soft brush, low opacity. My blocks are not going to be damaged by this soft brush. And what white does is it desaturates skin as it's being applied. So there will be 3 main tutorials released to my store. One will be the how to paint a face in grayscale from scratch. Then there will be how to paint skin tones from scratch. And then there will be how to work with references. And these are the 3 big deals of working with portraiture, these 3 skills. And I hope that it's going to be a helpful tutorial for everyone who needs it. So I'm going to just apply some of that white here. And I'm just trying to work with the white you originally intended, and it's desaturating anywhere I put it, which is what I want it to do. Again, I don't usually paint with a white background, but this time I'm just letting it happen. There's a bit of white that hangs out under the mouth. And I'm taking a look at all my blocks on the Portrait Studio model and just trying to track down where I may have pure black, opportunities for pure black, and opportunities for pure white. Anywhere where there is bright, bright light. Look at the tip of the nose in the model. And that's why I've added so much of it. And I'll go back and adjust how much white I've added. And for the eyes, they seem extremely unrealistic. So I'm just going to grab the white of the eye and get rid of that outline on the lower half. And that's going to make everything feel a little bit more realistic. Then I'm going to grab the red, just like a pinkish red, and use it along the waterline. That's missing. You missed that, which is a very big part of the realism of the face, is the pink of the waterline of the eye. Then I'm just going to grab some of that white on normal and put a little drop of it on the inside of the eye. So, before, after. Okay, so skin is about subtlety. You can have a background but still have a darker skin tone. You don't have to spike up into whites right away. Stop outlining around the head with your soft brush, thinking, hey, I'm using a soft brush so it won't look like an outline because this rack's too stupid to notice. No, I will notice right away. It's the first thing I notice. Line dependence is the first thing I see. The nose shadow wasn't consistent with the shadows around the face. You had no blocking. Portrait Studio helped with that. You can grab that on my store. And there's just so much. I'm not going to repeat the whole session, but there's a lot going on. I did use soft brush to help run the critique along. If it was my painting, I would not leave it this soft. Even still, I would keep blocking, adding wrinkles, adding more edges, adding more definition and age. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. So how do I get my work up in your videos, Istabrack? Well, go to istabrack.com and click on the Reddit icon here. It'll take you to the subreddit. There's a current challenge running. Portrait Studios is no longer 55% off, but it is still in a big sale price. And you can find it on my store, Portrait Studio that I used today right here. It's $45. And this is where you will find the tutorial classes that I'll be submitting very soon. For those who want a companion masterclass for starting the 14-day challenge or just improving their portraiture. And any other announcements that I have? The Floral Humanoid Challenge, I've talked about it. It's a community challenge that comes with a reward. I'm currently talking to XP Pen for another review, and one of the options that I have as a creator is to use to offer a tablet as a as part of the contest, you know, rewards. I'm not 100% sure how that works. I'm going to look into it and see if it's even an option for me. But at least you guys get Portrait Studio copy for those who win the challenge. There will be winners. You get to attend a critique hour with me on Voice, and you basically talk with me about the critiques that I'm doing. It might be the Floral Humanoid Challenge itself. And you get brushes, and I usually offer 1 or 2 private sessions for the winner as well. And that's it for today. Thank you everyone for coming, and let's take a look at that before and after one more time. Okay, and especially the derpy eyes, right? And the glow in the eyes, adding some of the white in the eyes and adding some of the blue in the white of the eyes. Okay, thank you for the streamers. I hope some good comes your way. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Dash. You're very welcome, guys. I'll see you guys next time, Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And do look out on my store for any changes. It'll most likely be released along the start of summer, so early June. And I'm really excited about it because it's the very first one I've ever done. So if you do have suggestions, please message me on Instagram and all that. What would you like to see out of a video tutorial off a store, so a paid video tutorial? What do you not see in other video tutorials online that you want to see in mine, that you want to recommend for me? I would love that. I'm in the testing stage at the current time, so I would love to hear back from you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye.